Alrighty. Alrighty. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the land of reckless logic. Please make sure you guys pop that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please smack that notification bell so do not miss any more posts from me. Let's get straight into this video. Let me hit you guys with the intro, and then we're gonna get into the things because I have a lot of things to talk about. Because a lot has been going on. Now, where's my intro over here? There we go. Ooh, got stuff over here playing. Lord Jesus. All right, what's going on, y'all? Let me see. Due to the minute, there's a possibility. Let me get relaxed. Oh, okay, got you. All right, so what's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling today? As you guys can already tell, what we're here to talk about, we have a whole bunch of things that we need to talk about and get through. A lot of things has been going on in the media. Now, I know I have been missing in action, but however, I will say that things have been going on. Now, let me get myself together. Now, just so you guys are aware, I do have another monitor over here to kind of watch and see how everything is going. So let me just get myself together. Let me see something real quick. Y'all make sure you guys thumbs up this video. Please thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. But in the meantime, let me just get to saying hello to everybody. Let me start from getting. Oh, hey, NeoX, how you doing? What's going on with you? Let me see. Let me see, baby. Let me do this. Bam. Yeah, so what's going on, NeoX? How you doing today? Wait, what's going on, Neo? Deshaun's in the building. There he go. He must have been something handles and whips. Oh Lord, Jesus. Alrighty. What's going on, Adams? How you doing? I've been working. I've been doing my thing. I've been working. I am coming back to YouTube. Reason why I haven't been to YouTube because I've been working and I've been doing some things. Now I fully cannot. I'm over here getting notifications, girl. I fully cannot say fully what I'm doing behind the scenes, but just know I'm working. I'm working. Hey, Bougie Barbie, how you doing? Let me see. Hey, Lady D, how you doing? Hey, Moesha. There go China, Goody. Hey, what's y'all doing? I missed y'all. I missed y'all so much. Now, I know I haven't really been here in the public, like on my platform, but however, I have been in the bushes and I have been in the background. Now, I know that over here, I got a lot of things going on in terms of my video quality. So if my video quality gets, so I think I just might cam down because I have another monitor over here. So I think I might just cam down and do this a camming down video. Let me see. Let me see. Get together real quick. And plus, let me give the people some time to come in here. Because I know I haven't been on here for a minute. So algorithm, bye-bye, is not going to notify just anybody, to be completely honest with you. Let me see. Ooh, I'm not really liking this. Yeah, I'm finna cam down for this video because I do not like the quality of this right here. So let me cam down. All right, so that seems to be better. That seems like that's gonna be my best bet. All right, so you guys already know why we're here. You guys already know what we're here to talk about. We're gonna get into Miss Funky Dineva leaving TGIF, aka Fox Soul, and the drama surrounding that. We're also gonna be talking about Boosie and TS Madison and their beef, their drama, them reading quote unquote each other and just going back and forth. We're gonna get into Miss Supercent and her having a split, breaking up, separating her from her ex-fiance Rayzor. We're also gonna, of course, you guys already know we're here for the meat and the potatoes of Katt Williams and his interview with Shannon Sharpe over on the club Shay Shay and that whole situation, girl, and that craziness over there. And last but not least, we're gonna get into Miss Trina, Miss 305, the baddest B, and her comment saying that Beyonce is the queen of rap. So yeah, let's get started straight into it. All right, so first things first, we're gonna start off with Miss Funky Dineva. Now, as you guys may or may not know, you guys probably do know, but just in case some of you guys have been living under a rock, Funky Dineva, who is a YouTuber pop culture commentator and also 1/3 of a panelist on a Fox Soul show by the name of TGIF. Now, if you guys are not aware, TGIF also includes panelists Funky Dineva, Claudia Jordan, and Al Reynolds. Now, on this show, they have a group discussion on a variety of topics. It can come from pop culture, celebrities, politics, etc. Now, reason why we're here is because Funky Dineva, despite him also being one third of panelists of the show, he also is a well-known YouTuber. And with him being a YouTuber, he ended up releasing a video. And within the video, he basically let it be known that he will not be returning to TGIF. Now, for a lot of the fans, a lot of the viewers who are fans of TGIF, they may disagree with Funky, they may disagree with Claudia, they may disagree with Al Reynolds. But however, people, the fans, do agree that those three together do make a great combination for a show. And so Funky Dineva not being part of that, especially once I'm going to say they're starting to pick up way more traction, then, some people have, mixed emotions, feelings, and reviews about that decision. But however, reason why we're here is because he made a video. Now, within the video, he basically explained why he would not be coming back. Essentially, he had a 6-month contract compared to Claudia Jordan and Al Reynolds, who had a 1-year contract. And within the 6-month contract, he wanted to negotiate funds and basically negotiate his contract. Now, from his perspective, he said that him and Fox Soul weren't able to come to an agreement because of wages, and plus the current state and environment of the Taraji P. Henson and the Monique, and the sensitivity surrounding melanated people not being paid equally compared to their white counterparts. From his perspective, he said that motivated him to make the final decision to just cut ties with TGIF. And he also said that there's no hard feelings. Now, let's continue. Now, with that decision being made, of course, fans began to have their mixed emotions. Some fans was like, okay, cool, the best to his journey. Some other individuals wanted to know what happened. And some people like myself I just had this feeling that something else was in the buttermilk. It was something else that wasn't being said that may have happened behind the scenes. Now, the reason why I say that is because what happens and comes after. Now, after Funky Dineva basically let it be known that he will not be returning to TGIF, of course, Claudia Jordan and Al Reynolds, they had to speak out and basically let it be known there's no hard feelings, etc., etc., etc. Now, this is where I kind of missed a tad bit of the detail. Later on down the line, there seemed to be some shadiness, some type of, I'm going to say, very, very passive tension between Claudia Jordan and also Funky Dineva. Now, I will say this. I'm not sure if Al Reynolds has said anything publicly as in terms of, quote unquote, anything shady. But however, I most definitely have gotten the feeling and also have thought that there was shadiness or a little bit of tension between Fox Soul, of course, and Funky Dineva. But however, since Fox Soul is not the face or the forefront of the show, it's gonna be Claudia Jordan and Funky Dineva. Now, of course, Claudia Jordan and Al, they end up speaking out about, I don't know if Al did, but however, Claudia Jordan did speak out. But however, Funky Dineva along the lines were, apparently he was trolling. Apparently he had some things to say. And then Claudia Jordan ended up speaking out again. Now, within her speaking out, she ended up clearing some things that I will be bringing up within my own opinion, my own assessment, in the way that I view things. But also, there was an incident with Funky Dineva complaining, having issues with Fox Soul asking for their equipment back. So I do know that Claudia Jordan also gave her thoughts on the situation, letting it be known that, when you join a job or you've been hired and you are under employment for a facility, organization, institution, when you leave institution, either you quit or get fired. A lot of the times you are required, I'm going to say all the time, you are required to return their property and what is necessary for them, for said worker to do said job. So let's get straight into what I got to think, what I got to say and think about things. Okay, so y'all, before I even continue, y'all make sure you guys thumbs up this video. It really does help out with YouTube's algorithm. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Now, the first thing I want to say is that, like I said earlier, I do believe that more had happened behind the scenes. Now, the more I started to look at the dynamics between Al Reynolds and Claudia Jordan versus Funky Dineva, specifically Claudia and Funky, the more lives and the more time started to pass, the more I started to get more of a confirmation that something more has happened, either behind the scenes I'm gonna say behind the scenes. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like this. I feel like, yes, contracts and how much Funky Dineva was getting paid, yes, did play a part into why he probably felt the way that he felt. But however, I personally feel that that's not the main and the only reason why. Because also as well, Claudia Jordan also let it be known that even though Funky Dineva is also making these claims that they don't get paid, enough for their work, etc., 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 Claudia Jordan is also on the opposing side of that, and also let it be known that we get paid extremely well. So essentially what he's saying is not to be the truth. We get paid extremely well for what we do, and we're well compensated. And she also let it be known that you cannot compare Taraji P. Henson's plight versus your own Funky Dineva. And the reason why she said that is because the distinction between the two is that when it comes down to Funky Dineva, you've been paid well enough. This is what Claudia said. You've been paid well enough for your work and your contribution to the show. You have been paid well, compared to Taraji P. Henson, who's being extremely underpaid compared to her white counterparts. Even though, despite her contribution, despite her resume, despite what she has done within the industry and the films that she has done and the roles that she has played, she has not seen a raise. And so that's what Claudia had to say. And so as time goes on, I started to, kind of get more of a confirmation of what was actually going on between the two. Now, like I said earlier, the whole thing in terms of Funky Dineva and the equipment, like I said, when you work for an institution, facility, or an entity, when you are no longer employed or you are under the umbrella of that entity, then guess what? They're going to want their equipment back. This always happens whenever you are under employment. Whenever you may work for a different facility, they may want their IDs back. When you work for a different facility as an accommodator, they may want their microphones back that they actually provided you with. When you work as when you work as in a call center, they're probably going to want back. Well, I'm not going to say probably. They're going to want back that laptop that they gave you so you can be able to start the job. That's just regular protocol for the most part. So, and also what that told me is that Funky Dineva's response to Fox Soul asking for their equipment back, it also gave me confirmation that something more is happening there. Now, I'm gonna say this as well. I believe, now this is me speaking, I believe that when Funky Dineva actually gave quote unquote a why in his original YouTube video, as in why he left TGIF, I felt like that put gasoline on basically on the situation. Because the reason why I say that is because if you would have left it blank, I feel that if he would have left it blank, I'm currently not with TGIF anymore. It was a great opportunity. I really appreciate the producers, etc., etc. There's no hard feelings, yada, 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 yada. And then would have left it blank and it said me and Claudia and Al and also the Fox Soul individuals, we are still on good terms, and would have left it blank, I felt like it would have made it easier for fans to, or viewers to kind of, I guess, be more accepting to what's going on and not really be so quick to attack. And the reason why I say that is because the fans wouldn't know what to attack. You get what I'm saying? Compared to Funky Dineva actually coming out and actually saying that he was underpaid and they weren't going to pay him enough. And that's really the core of the message. They wasn't paying him his worth or what he believed that he should have been paid. Now, what that does, that puts a target on the backs of Claudia Al because they are the face of TGIF, but also it puts a target on Fox Soul. And now these fans or these viewers, supporters, now are going over to Fox Soul with negativity and also coming back with their thoughts, opinions on Funky Dineva not being paid his worth. You get what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm also saying it too, because like I said earlier, it's the sensitivity surrounding Taraji P. Henson, Monique, and melanated people being underpaid. You got me? You got me. So that's really all I have to say in terms of the Funky Dineva and TGIF situation. I try to keep it short and sweet. But let me continue. Now, since we left one page of gay news, let's get into another page of gay news. Now let's get into Boosie, Mr. Badass. All right, so Boosie, of course, is trending and of course in headlines, of course, not because of his music, of course, not because of his catalog, but of course, he's decided that he wanted to take his A over to the Color Purple Theater, either, I don't know, I'm assuming in the movie theater. And he decided he wanted to take a stand and walk out of the movie theater because there was a scene where two actresses decided to have an intimate moment. And so he wanted to take a stand. Now, despite him taking a stand, he decided to go to his social media and put up a post. Now, while I pull this post up, I will not be showing it on the screen, but however, what I will be doing, let me do this. Here we go. What I will be doing, I will be saying it out loud. So let me just make sure I pull everything up. Y'all make sure you guys thumbs up this video. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbing up really does help out with YouTube's algorithm, especially with a thumb up. Okay, so let me put it up real quick. So let's see what Boosie had to say and start this off, because after he said what he said, people within the gay community, the queer community, also said what they said, and they just got to going back and forth. Let me say real quick. Here we go. Now, this is brought to you guys by the courtesy of the Jasmine brand. It says Boosie Badass says he walked out the screening because he didn't want his daughters viewing a rainbow love story. And of course, social media users react. What says here? Good. Now here we go. Oh Lord. It says, I had to walk out. Now, this is what Boosie wrote. I had to walk out this Color Purple movie, and two other older couples walked out also because I had my little girls with me. It seemed like a gay love story. Good acting, but whoever wrote this script is pushing the narrative hard. As a parent, I will not let my little girl watch this film. That's what Boosie had to say. So like I said, after he said what he said, everybody else started to say what they said. Hold up, girl. Let me check my comment because I know y'all going crazy. Let me make sure. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Hey. So now TS Madison responded and began to drag Boosie. Now, this is what TS Madison had to say about the situation. She said, so, #Lil Boosie, you sat there with your daughter while Celie, daddy, took her second child that he fathered and gave it to the pastor and his wife. You sat there with your daughter while Mr. came and bought her from her daddy at 14 years of age. You sat there with your daughter while Mr. enslaved Celie to cook and clean with his nasty house and his children. You sat there with your daughter and watched Mr. beat S.A. destroy, drag Celie all over the floor. You sat there with your daughter and watched Mr. bring his side piece, his side chick, into the house with Celie, but you got up to leave when you saw Celie finally find love and compassion and some sort of temporary relief from Mr.'s prison. Then you try to come to social media and bring the "What about the kids, man?" Come on, man, campaign. You've been on an attempt to use God to justify you. And here's my thing: when people be trying to justify God, I know good and god dang well, Boosie is not sitting up here trying to use God as a justification for quote unquote his stands. Because if you want to use that same ruler and measure yourself with that same ruler, we can, and guess what? We will. So don't worry about that. What's going on, TST? What's going on, Lakia? Now it says here, campaign, you've been on an attempt to use God to justify you and the people who stand with you, and they call us delusional. Sir, the character you play in real life is Mr., the daddy, the pastor, and all of the men who abused Celie in that movie and have the nerve to finally be concerned about what a kiss would do to influence your daughter. Now, first things first, because I don't think I even wrote this in the notes. First things first, last time I checked, now correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be right and I could be wrong, or I could be wrong. Boosie, your daughter is already queer. Your daughter has already came out as a lesbian. To my knowledge, I could be wrong, unless he has another daughter that he's referring to. I just don't get it. I just don't. But that's what they had to say. They were going back and forth. Now, after she said what she said, now also in addition to TS Madison responding to Boosie, also trans activist Hope Giselle also responded as well. She had a video and she got to dragging, and it was kind of funny, whatever. But at this point, it's kind of redundant in terms of Boosie. And I'm gonna get to you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys why I feel that way. And also another person that also responded to Boosie was Conscious Lee, etc., 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 etc. The community was on his ass. Okay, now Boosie responded to TS Madison and had to get some things off his chest, apparently. Now, Boosie wrote this. Why, if someone doesn't agree with the gay narrative that's being pushed, why do y'all say that the person who doesn't agree is gay? That's bullying. Actually, first things first, I'm gonna dissect this. First things first. People are not saying that people who don't agree, quote unquote, that trigger word, that buzzword, agree with the gay, quote unquote, narrative, lifestyle, etc., being pushed is gay. People are not doing that just to do that. People are only doing that because they're following studies and they're following psychologists who have seen behavior patterns and have come to the conclusion that the most homophobic people that are so anti-queer are typically DL self-hating queer people themselves that are trying to fight their own identities. And to be completely honest, Bootsy, the reason why people keep telling and keep saying that is because, not because you disagree, it's because you go out of your way to speak up and also stand against queer people every chance you get, even when it's quote unquote not even called for. You did it with Zaya Wade, you did it with your daughter, you did it with anything that has anything that may hint towards queer people within the media. But yet when it comes down to other situations that are important within the community, like abuse, like women being SA, like DV allegations, and also DV situations, you're more than likely more quiet compared to when it's queer situations. Someone like a Billy Porter, someone like a Little Nas X, all of a sudden you have your cape on trying to be, Captain Saberho, or trying to be the spokesperson for said the black community. But however, let's also actually, you know what? I'm gonna wait on that. Now, as I continue, it says that's bullying. Now here we go, trying to do the whole victim thing. That's bullying. We have a right as parents to say it's not cool for a 7 and 9-year-old to watch this. First and foremost, apparently this is obviously coming from a person who has not watched The Color Purple. Because the thing about it is that if I've watched The Color Purple, then I would know that this movie more than likely is not appropriate for children. And last time I checked, isn't this movie PG-13? I could be wrong, but isn't this movie PG-13? You should have, which means that some things within the movie are not going to be appropriate for children or minors under 13 years old. Parental discretion advised. That's the purpose. But I forgot that we're also talking to an individual who's ignorant. So to watch this, we have rights as parents to protect our children as much as we can. I have no problem with no problem at all with gay people. My granddad was a preacher, Southern Baptist, and I'm not trying to raise my kids with the same beliefs and respect we are raised with. Oh, and respect we was raised with. It's just the world we have, and you a fight to do so. What the heck? Okay, so here's the thing. It's also the microaggressions in terms of when Boosie's speaking, or I'm gonna say when he's writing about queer people, because he can't even say gay, he can't even say queer, he can't even say trans. He puts the rainbow, which is a microaggression. But let me continue. So that's what Boosie had to say. Now, as a result, TS Madison and him were going back and forth. Now, he also wrote as well. As he continued, because girl, it just continues on and on and on. It says, "You seem offended because the truth hurts." Now, he wrote this too, and he added T.S. Madison. "You seem offended because the truth hurts. The movie had great acting, but it's just not appropriate for my little girls to watch. And it's not just me, transsexual Maddie, that feels this way, shaking my head. Go read all the comments across social media about the film." Here's the thing I need for you to understand. Boosie, and keep in mind, here's the thing. When I'm talking to Boosie, I'm talking to people like Boosie. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not even talking to Boosie directly. Yeah, I'm using his name, but I'm not talking to him directly. There's no hope for Boosie. Boosie is just a lost cause. Yeah, so he's a lost cause. To be completely honest with you, let me make sure I put this stuff up. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong thing. Here we go. There we go. But here we go. And then you also said transsexual Maddie. Let's be very clear. Just because a person is queer, or just because a person is within the queer community, that does not mean they don't hold beliefs that are anti their existence. That does not mean just because a person is trans, that does not mean that they don't hold beliefs or ideas that mean that basically means that they are a danger, or their existence is a danger to minors. And we also know that these belief systems they don't stem from trans people or queer people. They stem from straight people. Straight people created narrative, and they controlled the narrative, and they brainwashed and used MK Ultra, and now we're in the present day where queer people have self-hate. The same way that melanated people and their colorism and their anti-blackness and all of those beliefs, melanated people didn't come up with those belief systems. Those belief systems were fed to melanated people by the dominant society, aka non-melanated people, aka the colonizers. And they fed that to melanated people. So yes, let's just be honest. But let me continue. But yes, let me read some of these comments. Now, Moesha says the movie is PG-13. He's an irresponsible parent. Yes, he is. But let's also, I want to make sure I keep, I'm gonna continue to touch on that, because I got something for Mr. Bootsy a little bit later. Now, it says there is a tape out there of Bootsy talking about prison. His prison incident. Boosie saw while locked up. He sounded like a hungry dog telling his story. The tape is everything. And I know exactly what you're talking about. So let me continue. Now, as I continue, Boosie said this. Now it says here, it's not just me, transsexual Maddie, that feels this way, shaking my head. Go read all the comments across social media about the film. It's a lesbian classic, but good film, and just cause someone don't agree, that makes them homosexual. So everyone who disagrees is gay. Maybe you're mad at yourself. And then here goes the projection. Because now, what the truth is, you're mad at yourself, Boosie. You're mad at yourself that you can't live in your truth. You're mad at yourself that you can't be who you really want to be, because you know that you being your true, authentic self to your core, that's gonna be a fight in terms of the people around you and the people that support you. Maybe you're mad at yourself. You've been mad at me since I told that T-word swimmer, get out the dang pool. Leave me alone, my nagger. And there we go with the transphobia. Now, let's also get into the comment section. Let's see what the people had to say. Let's see what the culture had to say. What's going on, Mandrell? How you doing? What's going on with you? Okay, now this person said this. It says, I feel Boosie, to be honest. The man stated his opinion. It's his child. Move the heck on. Is giving desperation to be seen at this point. That's what one person said. Other person says, I wish y'all stopped acting like TS had an issue with him not liking the LGBT community. The problem is that you proudly stand behind SA, minors being SA'd, in family members having sexual intercourse with each. I'm trying to, girl, y'all see me over here trying to remix these words. Family members having intercourse with each other and abuse. But you draw the line at 2 women kissing. And that's the hypocrisy. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. Now, someone said this. TS needs to leave it alone. Boosie didn't feel the movie was appropriate for his kid. That's his child. Whether you agree or disagree won't matter. Move on. Now, the same person also said this. Woo, that's it. Say it louder for the people in the back. Just don't get it, huh? But that's the thing. It's not about that. It's just also the fact that you brought yourself to social media to let it be known. Now, if you didn't like the movie and you felt like it was inappropriate for your child, and I repeat, your child, then guess what? That's your business. Now, I'm going to read a couple more, then we're going to continue. Laughing my A off. Not leave me alone, my nagga. And there we go again. People perpetuating transphobia. And now another person says, to the gay community and the trans community, when someone does not support y'all, it does not mean that they are homophobic. Okay, mammy, we get it. Now it says, Boosie gonna stand on business every time. Please put Boosie, Katt, and Monique in the same room. Oh, Lord Jesus. All right, so let me continue. Let me say what I got to say in terms of Boosie. Now, first things first. Where I am currently in terms of Boosie, Mr. Badass, I am like, ignore Boosie. Ignore Boosie. Ignore Boosie because at this point it is intentional. This is me speaking. Ignore Boosie. Reason why I say that is because Boosie knows that yes, he may make his money, or he may make money from music, etc., etc., etc. Because obviously he's making money somehow. He makes his money from his music, etc. But he also knows he gains traction by being, quote unquote, the voice for the Black community to stand against queer people and, quote unquote, their agenda. He knows that. He knows that if he's never really in the public eye for his craft and his music and his documentary, aka that movie that was on sale for $1.99. He knows that he's in the media and he gains traction by the ignorant, stupid stuff that comes out of his mouth that's not music related. AKA, show you on live for $1,000. And he knows as well that him speaking against or speaking on queer people is a guarantee to gain traction. To him, whatever he may be promoting, whatever music he may have out, he knows that is traction for him. And it also keeps him, quote unquote, relevant. So just ignore him at this point. But I also know as well that people are not going to always ignore him. And I get it. And I respect it. And that's why I also said, for me personally, at least for right now, I'm not, even though I'm using Boosie as his, like I'm saying his name, I'm not really speaking to Boosie. I'm speaking to people like him. People who might not understand, but there's hope for them. I feel like with Boosie, there's no hope. There's no hope until he does that work within himself to unpack whatever he has going on within himself. Because that second half of his response to TS Madison, that was a projection. Now let's also get into the double standards of Mr. Boosie Badass. Once again, remember how I said earlier how people would try to use God to justify their bigotry, but now, however, you want to use a said ruler to measure others. Let's use that exact same measuring system against yourself. Mr. Boosie Badass, you're also the same person who basically you're a groomer and you are into minors having intercourse because you're the same person who had Tootie, aka your son, and his cousins, nephews, etc. I don't know who, some other minors, and you hooked them up with a sex worker when they were underage. You are also the same person who basically committed murder and was on trial. You're also the same person that participate in rap music. Now, pause when I say this, because I also know that rap music is very diverse. There's different sections and sectors to rap music. But however, the sector or section of rap music that Boosie is a part of, what I'm about to say applies. You participate in a section or sector of rap music where traveling, transporting drugs, narcotics throughout the community is praised and celebrated. You're also part of a sector of rap music where DV and putting your hands on women is celebrated and rewarded. You're also participating in a section or sector of rap music where taking people's lives and also having a no snitch code is celebrated and rewarded. You're also the same person who's a part and participate in a section or sector of rap music where the abuse of everybody within the community is celebrated. So are you sure you want to use God as your measuring, as your moral compass to measure and judge other people? Are you sure you want to use Yahshua? You sure you want to use Jesus Christ, Allah, whatever? You sure you want to use that as a way to judge? Because to be completely honest, the only time that we can really say that you really been judged for real, it's when you was on that. It's when you went to prison and when you were on that stand. To be completely honest with you, what's going on, Rumors and T? Hey, Rumors and T, how you doing? We getting into Boosie and his hypocrisy and his double standards. What's going on? So it's just interesting to me that all of a sudden, when it comes down to queer people specifically, he's quote unquote. Once again, I'm not talking to Boosie. I'm using him as the example. It's people within the community, black community, that want to use him as a voice of reason. But last time I checked, this man is a groomer. This man is a danger to children, but then yet wants to self-project that queer people are inherently a danger to children. When, however, he has shown proof that he's a danger to children, that he's a danger to your sons and your daughters. That this is the representation that's supposed to be the voice of reason. This is supposed to be the person that's supposed to take a stand. But the only time he took a stand was in court. The only time he rose, the only time he actually had to rise is when the judge said, "All rise." We'll read the bailiff. All rise. But let's also get into another thing as well. Boosie, let's get into your children. At least two of them that I know about for a fact. You have a daughter that's queer. You have a daughter that is a lesbian. You have a daughter that is part of the queer community. So if your daughter is not doing said things, then how can, my thing is this, people literally have the literal manifestation of said phenomenon in their real lives, in their real day-to-day lives, but yet still hold on to these fairy tale, insidious, surface level thinking ideas about groups of people when they had those, they literally have those groups of people in their lives. When you look at your daughter, I wonder, do you actually think that there's a gay agenda when it comes down to your daughter? Do you believe that when it comes down to the family, your family members who just so happen to be queer in your family, do you believe that these people are actually actively spreading a gay agenda, that's a cop out, and you're projecting, and also you're trying to deflect from the real issue, and the real issue that you have to unpack whatever you got going on. I'm just saying. Now let's also get into your son, Tootie. That's the exact same son that was introduced to a sex worker at while he was underage with other underage minors, and they had sexual intercourse with the sex worker. There was a video that I seen of Boosie, just scrolling, and there was a video I seen of Boosie, and in this video, there is a very popular trend in terms of YouTubers, where YouTubers basically have a celebrity or a well-known YouTuber or somebody random, either a male or a female. It's either one male or one female, either or, and it's 20 other males or females depending upon what their sexual orientation is. So basically how the video goes is that you have one person, either male or female, and they're basically having to do like speed dating. They basically go through every single person in the line and decide whether or not they find them attractive, if it's a yay or a nay. And so that's basically what the episode that I seen of Boosie, the clip. And in the clip, I see a girl come up. And when he was talking to her, eventually down, you have the conversation, oh, what's your name? Da, 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 how old are you? Da, da. Somewhere down the road, the conversation went to him talking about his son. So for me, using my logical thinking, me trying to be more logical and try to connect the dots, I am assuming that the girl was a little bit too young for Boosie. So he suggested that she should go after his son because it would be more appropriate. And so he decides to say out his mouth that my son Tootie, yeah, he gonna have sex with you. I'm cleaning it up, y'all. He's gonna have sex with you raw. Yeah, I train him to to just be fucking. This man is a predator. I don't know what parent that invested in their children's sexual lives and sexual activities. Now, some may argue that, when it comes down to your children, you want to be aware of their sexual activity, especially if they're underage, because you don't want them having unprotected sex. You don't want anything to happen. People get pregnant, etc., etc., etc. Some people may argue that, but however, at the rate that Lil Boosie's at, it's disturbing and is extremely inappropriate. And something is wrong with his psychology. Now, let me read some of these comments and let me move on. Now, Rumors of T say he doesn't support that particular daughter. She's spoken out against him too. I'm pretty sure that he does. And here's the thing that gets me with people who quote unquote disagree. First and foremost, being queer is not something that you agree or disagree with. That's the privilege of cis heterosexual people speaking. That's the privilege that you believe that you have the right to quote unquote agree or disagree with somebody's existence. Because that's like me saying, and once again, if the car can go forward, it can go backwards. A lot of the times people don't fully understand what they're doing or what they're saying to people and how it translates or comes across until you have to flip it and give it and feed it back to them. So if the car can go forward, it can go backwards. That's like me saying this. I don't agree. I love straight people. I have a whole bunch of cis straight people in my life, but however, I just don't agree with the lifestyle. People are going to look at me crazy like, what do you mean you don't agree with the lifestyle? And that's exactly what we're saying on the flip side of things. What do you mean you don't agree with the lifestyle? It's either you're queer or you're not. You don't control someone's sexual orientation. It's stuff like this that goes on, and then we wonder why DL culture is a thing. We can't complain about quote unquote DL culture, but yet we're grooming or cultivating people or cultivating a society where people are ashamed to be themselves and won't be themselves. And then we have people like Boosie that also reinforce it. Let me continue. The fact he didn't face criminal charges and lose his parental rights after what was orchestrated between his child, nephew, and grown women is appalling. And I believe 100% this statement right here. He's a groomer. Yes, he's a groomer. If you look at the interviews of the way that he talks about his son and the way his son be having sexual intercourse, it's disturbing. Very disturbing. Now, don't get me wrong. A tough conversation that some people may want to have, may not want to have, may want to accept, may not want to accept is that, yes, fathers and sons, they do have, men talk. They talk about their sexual activities. Fathers do go to their sons. Did you get some yet? That's my boy. Conversations like that do happen. But however, it's very disturbing when you are obsessed about your child's reproductive organs and their sexual activity and who they have in their bedroom. As long as it's not hurting nobody, it shouldn't be an issue. Now it says here, Moesha says, people act like him threatening to black his daughter's eye and calling her all type of bees wasn't just viral on the internet. Wonder what his 7 and 9-year-old daughters think of that. Girl, forget Boosie. So after we flipped through both pages of gay news, so we ended up getting through Funky Dineva. Now we done got past Boosie and his BS, and TS Madison and the rest of the community keeping their foot on his neck, and rightfully so. Let's get into Supercent. Now, for those who may not know who Supercent is an entrepreneur. She is known for a makeup palette where it has very vibrant colors, and it was a very big thing because she is, I'm going to assume from what I know, she's out of New Orleans. I assume because of the accent, but also as well too, she also it was a big thing for her to gain her first $1 million. She's very successful. She is a media personnel, influencer. I've seen her on podcasts. I don't know what would I consider her a podcaster, but she has been on a few podcasts, speaking, etc., and also, kind of making a name and a brand for herself. Now, the reason why we're here is because she came out and let it be known that she and her fiance had split. By the way, her fiance name that I have here is called Rayzor. Now, this is the video that she said and she came out with, so I'm gonna play it right now. Y'all get ready.
I'm gonna go ahead on and drop this tea before somebody drop it for me. I am no longer in a relationship. I am no longer engaged. I will not be friends with my ex. This was not a mutual agreement. I will not ask for privacy at this time because I know what come with this. I had a public relationship, so I have no problem with y'all speaking publicly. Be sure to like.
Ooh, yeah. Hold up, let me get it together. So, just to give you a little bit of context, if you're not sure, just to get you a little bit of context. Basically, she came out and let it be known that they are not together, and she wanted to kind of put the story out there because they both, her and her fiance, addressed them not being together. They wanted to be the ones to put that out instead of people speculating it blows up, or at least they thought them putting it out there and putting it all out on the table would decrease the risk of it blowing up. But however, the exact opposite happened. But she continues on and she says this.
Comment about it. I will not be dating no time soon. Don't ask me. Don't even be expecting. You will not catch me with nobody. You will not catch nobody with me. So yeah, I dropped that tea before somebody could drop it for me. There you go. Have a great day.
There we go. Now, even though she said that, let me actually do this. Now, her ex-fiance actually came out and said this. And he wrote this. He said, I dodged a bullet. I walked away clean. I couldn't ask God for anything more. No dirt on my name, no scandal, no cheating. It's nothing anyone can say bad about me besides it didn't work out. I'm at peace with my decision. And he ended with all smiles. Now, that's what both of the individuals had to say about the situation, but things kind of took a turn in terms of the way the situation was handled. So after both people spoke out about the situation, about them not being together because they knew that their fans, them having a public relationship, if people noticed that Why isn't your husband or your fiance not around that much? People are going to eventually speculate, and with speculations also comes people using their own imagination to come up with whatever. So as I continue, the culture had their feedback. They wanted to, they had mixed reviews of why, she said this, why did she give out, why did she say anything, etc., etc., etc. Now let me see, can I go through a few of the comments and see what the people had to say. One person says, whenever they say it wasn't due to cheating, it was due to cheating, laughing my behind off. Another person wrote this: she either makes bad decisions in men or she's the problem. Either way, she's getting engaged every time you look like someone isn't a good idea. Now, another person says this: I'm at peace with my decision means he dumped her, I'm guessing. It was not a mutual decision means someone didn't want the relationship to end. My guess, Rayzor got what he wanted out of the relationship without having to marry her and moved on. Too bad. I like Supa. And I'm gonna read two more and I'm done. I'm gonna continue. Another person says, she don't need to date and especially not post another man anytime soon. All that crying and praising these men, then breaking up is insane. Not they calling her a mammy, girl. Now another person says she needs to get a lawyer. She could say the purchase of what did it say? She could say the purchase of the land was contingent because based off the engagement going through and leading to an actual marriage. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't even know all that. Okay, girl. So that's what the people had to say. Now, as the feedback started to, basically come up or whatever, people started to come with their own narratives and they started to actually dissect. Also, in addition, I'm not gonna say narratives, come up with their own theories. I think that's more appropriate because narratives can be kind of a word that's built on false ideas, but theories could possibly be true. At least this is the way I view it in my head. Okay, so people started coming with their own theories about what has happened in terms of trying to piece all what had happened, what was said, and trying to dissect it. So in doing that, when I say she, Supa had to make a follow-up video to add clarity to what happened between her and her fiance. Now, let me bring that up, but in the meantime, can you guys please make sure you got thumbs up this video. Thumbs up the video really does help out with YouTube's algorithm. Please thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Please help our brother out. Okay. Let me pull this bad boy up. Okay, now this is what she had to say. Now I'm not gonna play all of it, but this is what she had to say.
I am distraught. I am going through something. I'm going through something because I'm suffering a breakup. Not only am I suffering a breakup, my kids are suffering a breakup. So it's not just about me. I spent almost 3 years with somebody, and my kids did too. So I don't want nobody to feel like, oh, she's going through it, and I'm going through something because I'm dealing with a breakup that I was not expecting. So let's just get that over with. I got too much love and respect for Ray to get on here and drag for him and make him feel like he just is whatever. But I'm not going to defend it. I'm not going to lie about. I'm not going to. The truth is the truth, and it is what it is. I'm not going to be on some. I'm taking him back. I'm still single. I'm not engaged. I am distraught. We're not gonna act like what happened between us is not something for me to pack my bags and move on until somebody really takes some type of ownership or deal with some type of consequences. The night when I was on Snapchat, we was planning the game night. And listen, I'm real big on, everybody know I'm super public about my relationship. I'm super public about what's good, what's bad. I don't really too much hide everything. How people try to make it seem like, you try to make everything look like it's glistening. No, I don't. That's not me. That's y'all face. That's not me. I don't get on here.
So I'm gonna cut it short right there. Now, what she said later on is that, and by the way, this is courtesy of the Shade Room. It says Supercent opens up about her split with Rayzor, and it says here, and I quote, "You did cause physical harm to me, and I caused physical harm to you." Now, later on in her video, she also let it be known that there was an incident where she was trying to work on herself, and she was trying to better herself, and she has worked on herself without therapy. But however, she does believe that she's gonna need some therapy now. That she has been trying to work on herself, and she didn't want to get to a point of she always having to put hands on her partner. She openly said that she has a pattern of putting hands on her partner. So there was an incident where they were in their car, and they were having a back and forth. And he reached over and either he grabbed her glasses or he did something and touched her glasses. And from what I took from her saying, explain the situation, that it wasn't 100% intentional. He was just trying to get her attention. And so she took it as him trying to be aggressive with her. And so they end up getting physical and stuff. Now, the reason why I say that is to say this and to move on to say this. Now, after she did that follow-up and provided clarity about the situation, because people were coming up with their own theories after her and her ex-fiance decided to come out and speak publicly to their breakup and their split, and people decided to still come with their own theories. And then she came up with the follow-up video. People still had outrage, and it made the situation worse. And I'm gonna be honest, one of the things I kept seeing in the comment section was, why do we care? Why do you guys bring this to social media? Why do you say this? Why do you say that? Yada 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 yada. Now, that's what I saw in the comment section. Now let me say this. I'm gonna say what I appreciate about the live, about her saying what she said. I appreciate that she was at least honest enough to admit that she was actually doing physical harm to him as well. Reason being is because, and by the way, what I'm saying is gender neutral. Reason being is because a lot of the times whenever we have situations and there's a couple, business partners, friends, family, whenever people talk about a situation or altercation, there's always typically details missing from the speaker's actions, what may have helped contribute to the downfall in said situations a lot of the times. And so I appreciated that she admitted that, no, hold up now, I don't want y'all trying to just blame him and make him look like he's the monster. I have my own issues as well, and I'm not going to sit up here and lie about it. And I did appreciate that, because a lot of people don't do that in the media, especially celebrities, because you do have an image to uphold compared to regular ordinary people. Now, it says Supa herself has admitted to having issues, and it's not always just the men, but Rayzor has since recanted his statement and apologized. Okay, well, that's good to hear. What's going on, y'all? Let's get these likes up. 6 more likes. Come on, Rumors and Tea. Come on, Rumors and Tea. Come on. Now, the next thing I want to get into is this. Now, let's get into the culture's hypocrisy. Because now I want to direct my point to the general public. I think it's very interesting how the general public is so quick to tell celebrities, tell people, and keep in mind what I'm about to say is double-sided, but they're so quick to tell people to, why do we care about this? Why are you guys telling us about this? We don't care about this. You should have kept that to yourself. Yada, 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 yada. And the list goes on and on and on and on. I think it's very interesting that this culture is the same culture that says something like that, but yet we're also the same culture that is damn near about to have a heart attack and end up in the ER on somebody's emergency room because Halle Bailey won't actually come out and explain and confirm or deny that she's pregnant or she's with child, despite what people's narratives, theories are, or what their eyes see. So on one end, as a culture, we tell people to, why do we care about this? But then on the other end, we're so quick and we want to know the juice and we want to get the tea, and we want to know the messiness, the shade. But then when we have individuals that literally come out and say, hey, yo, we already know how this goes, and we know y'all gonna get to doing y'all big when they're trying to figure out what's going on, so let's just go and tell you guys, and let's just leave this out the way and get this out the way. So it's very interesting how people love to code switch in terms of when people quote unquote care about something, but then they don't care about something. This is very interesting. And then another thing too. Another example of that is how the culture would sit up there and say that we quote unquote don't care about something is that I've used the example of whenever celebrities or public figures you go to interviews, and while they're in those interviews, one of the especially if they're a new artist or there's a traumatic or a shift in their life, as in partner may have passed away, partner may have got locked up, partner them and the said partner then broke up. But one of the key questions, especially for new artists coming into the game, and we're trying to quote unquote get to know them, is who is Selena Gomez dating right now? Who is Cardi B dating right now? AKA that's before Offset was confirmed. It was kind of speculation. Who is Offset dating right now? Who is Quavo dating right now? And keep in mind, people who do interviews, people that are running blogs, keep in mind this is a business, which means that they are going to ask questions that people are interested in, that's going to gain the most traction, and that's going to get them the most views, aka the most money. So you cannot have a service without a customer. You can't have a good or a product without a customer. That good and product is people doing interviews, which creates content, which creates viewers. So obviously the culture cares about what people do within their relationship, because let's not forget who else is part of this docket. Let me see. Who else is part of this docket? Let's not forget, we can't sit up here and say that we don't care about what people do, but because let's also keep in mind conspiracy theories also exist. There's whole documentaries on conspiracy theories like the Illuminati and the Bole. And let's not forget Mr. Katt Williams just did a very shocking interview with Shannon Sharpe over at Club Shay Shay, and he was quote unquote continuing to expose the Illuminati, which was one of the reasons why the interview blew up, is because he was quote unquote unfiltered. So this idea that quote unquote us as the culture we don't care, that's just a false. It's just a false statement. And also is used as a way to deflect and be dismissive. I'm just saying. Hey, what's going on, Tanya? Hey, what's going on, Vines? What's going on? How you doing? But let me continue. So after we get done talking about Supercent, but I will say this, I'm just gonna say this, I'm gonna move on. I just really appreciate, I want to keep reiterating this. I really appreciate that she did not make it seem like he was the only monster. She was open and honest about her part as well, because that does take a huge, great level of self-awareness. And I hate this word because it does get used a lot, but accountability. All right, so let me continue. Now, we done got done with relationships and their drama. Now let's get into conspiracy theories, comedians beefing left and right as if this is hip hop. And let's get into I'm about to say Kevin Hart, Katt Williams, and Shannon Sharpe over there at Club Shay Shay. So, as you guys already know, we're here for the meat and potatoes. Katt Williams, who is a comedian, actor, funny individual, one of my favorite comedians, and Shannon Sharpe, who is a former athlete. Now I would say he is more in the media. I'm gonna call him more of a media personnel. He is into podcasting, also into sports commentary, etc., etc. So they had an interview recently over at Club Shay Shay, and the reason why we're here is because Katt Williams said he wanted to speak truth to the lies that were being said on Shannon Sharpe's platform. Now, girl, let me get my other set of notes because Katt Williams said a lot. Let me do my overall thoughts, okay? I'm gonna try to make this quick. So my overall thoughts is this. For one, I feel like it was a good interview. I felt like Shannon, I feel like it was entertaining. It was entertaining because of it was sensationalized because of everything that was being said by Katt Williams. Also, as well, I would say Shannon, I did enjoy his interview, and I'm not gonna lie, since the Katt Williams interview, it does make me want to be more curious about his platform and start looking at all his other interviews and see if they're just as entertaining. Just kind of curious, just me personally. Now, another thing about my overall thoughts in terms of the interview, people's perspective on Katt Williams. Some people, I'm going to use this analogy as 6 and 9, and no, I'm not talking about the sexual position, but 6 and 9. 6 and 9 represents the different perspectives. If you look at something from one angle, this specific number, it may look like a 6. But if you go to the other side of that number and you look at from the opposing angle, the opposite angle, it may look or come across as a 9. So that's how I'm going to use that analogy in terms of people's perspective. The 6 could represent, from some people, this mother is crazy. He's out of his mind. He's delusional and he needs help. Now, on the other side of that is the 9, to where people may look at him and say he's a genius, he's entertaining, and he's exposing the industry. And also you can have the combination of the two in the mixture. Another thing about the interview is that they got straight to it. I'm going to say roughly 3-4 minutes into the interview, Katt Williams was on their ass. He was saying what he had to say, and he let it off all off and out of his body. He had to say what he had to say, and he let it out. And honestly, he didn't hold back. Initially, I'm gonna say this. Initially, when I watched the video, what I got from the interview is that he was quote unquote speaking on the industry. And this before I got more of a deep dive and started to think about everything he said. He was speaking to the industry and the games that are played behind the scenes. That's basically what I got from the industry on my first watch. And that's not me even doing too much critical thinking. Now, as well to that, another thing I got from the interview in terms of Katt Williams, basically he was saying, stay true to yourself. Don't let anybody change you. Don't be afraid to stand against the grain. Another thing he spoke to, that another message I got from it as well, is be your own boss. Once again, this before I had a critical thinking, y'all. Be your own boss. Because he talked about how he funded his own comedy special, and he's been doing it since he first started. So he decided to keep doing it, because when you do it yourself, no one can fire you. And also, too, another thing, too, that he also spoke about the competitiveness in terms of comedy and comedians, how competitive said industry is, that people, of course, may not know about, and that actually shocked Shannon Sharpe. And the thing I'm gonna say to this is that I don't think it's no issue with competition or being competitive. I don't think that's really an issue. I think there's an issue in terms of people, quote unquote, being competitive and trying to play dirty and trying to do things behind the scenes instead of just working on your craft. I think that's more of the issue. Now I done got that out the way. Now let me get into what I need to get into, and then we're going to get into the deep dive and talk about some of these hypocrisies and call Katt Williams out on his BS, and also call out the culture, aka the people, aka the general public, out on their BS as well. But we're going to get into that in 2.5 seconds. So a few things that he said. He talked about Rickey Smiley. Of course, Rickey Smiley in terms of Friday After Next, where Rickey Smiley played the Santa Claus, and of course, Kevin Hart played Money Mike, which was a pimp who owned a clothing store who treated his woman like crap. Now, Rickey Smiley came out and said previously that he was supposed to play Money Mike. On this interview with Kevin Hart, with Katt Williams, he let it be known that Rickey Smiley is a dang lie. He said that Rickey Smiley is lying. I'm the one that came up with the uniform, with the lines, etc., 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 and went on this whole rant. He also said that in the original script of Friday After Next, there was supposed to be an SA scene, and the pliers scene, the pliers joke scene, action, whatever you want to call it, was not originally inside of the script. That in the original script, that Money Mike was supposed to be SA'd by Damon. Now Katt Williams also said that he was the one that spoke up and stood against the powers that be in terms of the script and trying to get the scene of Money Mike being SA'd in the bathroom by Damon taken out and altered. Now here's the thing. He also said that Ricky Smiley cannot act. He also said that talked about in his contract that every time that he works with Ricky Smiley, that he must dress and act like a woman, because he said that that's the best acting he ever does, is acting like a woman, because him and Tyler Perry cannot act like no man. Now he also got into Cedric the Entertainer. He basically let it be known that Cedric the Entertainer looked like a walrus. He said that Cedric the Entertainer stole jokes from him, and he also said that Cedric the Entertainer does not write his jokes. He can't dance. He can't do anything. I don't know why he named himself the Entertainer. He talked about earthquake. He gave a straight earthquake, talking about he can't read, but it's of course not an insult. He just he's letting facts be known. He's talking about Steve Harvey. He's talking about how Steve Harvey stole his homeless story and said that he is a liar and a fraud, and said that, of course, you're a liar and a fraud because your hair is fake. You've been lying and you've been frauding in the game since the beginning, because if you can't be honest about your hairline, then you're not going to be honest about your life. He also said that how are you going to say that this last woman, your last wife, quote unquote, helped you get through struggle, but you said the exact same thing about your first wife. Quote unquote, you lie so much you can't keep up with your lies. He talked about Kevin Hart, saying that he's an industry plant essentially, and he also talked about Tiffany Haddish saying that they're gatekeepers, etc. Because these are, you're noticing they're, quote unquote, people say there aren't gatekeepers, but however, there always seem to be the same people getting certain opportunities, letting people in, letting people out. Let me see. Now I will say this. He talked about Diddy, talked about him denying money from Diddy because Diddy liked the party, and we all know how Diddy is. And I have a little bit of tea to tell y'all about the Diddy situation. And this is my own personal thing that I've heard myself. It was something interesting that he did say in the interview. Something he said, I love that what he talked about tithing, where he said that he would enter different people's, cities, shows, etc. And when he gets booked for these gigs and he works in these cities, he's in these cities, whatever money that he makes, he does give back to the said city, because he looks at that as a way to give back to the homeless, in terms of, I'm working inside of your city, I can at least give back because you guys showed out for me. I really did like that. Now he did speak about Martin Lawrence and saying that how his friend, quote unquote, was trying to put him in the dress, and I will be getting to that situation because girl. But let's continue. So that's a little bit I had to get into. So let's get into what I had to say. So after the whole interview, Katt Williams did the interview, but people did respond. Ricky Smiley did respond. Cedric the Entertainer and Steve Harvey responded. Kevin Hart responded. Essentially, almost all they behinds responded for the most part. Ricky Smiley let it be known that he was considered and he did try out for the role. He was going to be, quote unquote, or he was trying out for him being the pimp instead of Santa Claus. And he did not lie. Cedric the Entertainer did come out and say that he did not steal the joke. He said he'd been doing that joke about a space shuttle. And Steve Harvey let it be known that he's not going to respond. He gave very much I'm too big for this. I'm too high up for this. You're going to have to find your clout somewhere else. Now, Ludacris did a freestyle and responded. Now, here's the thing. Let me just go down the list of what I got to say about this. I'm trying to make this quick. Now, in terms of the stolen material, aka Cedric the Entertainer. Now, Cedric said and responded and said that he'd been doing the spaceship joke. But that's like Nosy Ho said on Conscious TV's platform. That's gaslighting, because you're trying to play around with semantics. You stole that man's joke. Let's just call a spade a spade. You stole that man's joke. Reason being is because it's literally copy and paste. All you literally did, instead of saying a car or using a car reference, you used a space shuttle. You literally, and even if you pay attention to the joke, the music that's being played in Katt Williams' version compared to the Cedric the Entertainer's version, the music almost sounds the same. The cadence within the music sounds the exact same, almost identical. So you stole that man's joke, and you're trying to use semantics, talking about I've been using the space shuttle. You're using semantics. You use that man joke. It's better if you just own up to it, but we know you're not. Now, let me get into this dress situation in terms of Martin Lawrence. Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I have no problem with, or I have no issue, or take no issue with people talking about quote unquote gay agenda, or talking about putting straight men in dresses and emasculation and da, 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 da. But I'm gonna tell you what my issue lies when these conversations do happen. So my issue is not having a conversation inherently. It's so much of the conflating issues, and then allowing certain your biases to speak for you. That's the issue that I have. The issue is that when people go into these conversations talking about heterosexual black men is specifically being emasculated, they use those talking points as a way to demonize, and they weaponize that conversation against queer people and homosexual or queer people in totality. And the reason why that's a very unfair and inaccurate judgment is because if the car can go forward, it can go backwards. We can also talk about how Rick Ross was within positions of power, and he let it be known that he would not hire or employ female artists because he would want to sleep with them. Let's not forget Stevie J when he was on Love Hip Hop Atlanta, when he was in a position of power to employ Jocelyn Hernandez. He wanted to sleep with her instead. But the thing about it, and the distinction between those two examples, or the plethora of examples, compared to when people have the conversation surrounding dresses and people who may be homosexual abusing their power, is that when we have conversations about Rick Ross and have conversations about Stevie J, have conversations about whoever, we're not demonizing heterosexuality in totality. No, it's never, whenever we have those conversations about that, the conversation and the over and the inner tones are never saying, or never have this emotion or feeling of heterosexuality is wrong. But whenever people do have conversations about queer people or homosexuality, or queer people that may be within the industry and they may be abusing their power and abusing people, it's a quote unquote a way for people to use their bias, speak through their biases, and say that homosexuality is evil inherently. And that is where my issue lies. Because if the car can go forward, it can go backwards. And let's be very clear. If heterosexual people make up the majority of the population, that also means that statistically, in terms of population sizes, there are going to be more heterosexual people within the world. And that also means there are going to be more heterosexual predators, because it makes sense, because you guys have a bigger population. But however, with you guys having a bigger population, heterosexuality is not never demonized inherently. We demonize the person by the way that they weaponize their sexuality, but we don't demonize the sexuality in its totality. I'm just saying. But I'm gonna continue. Now let's get into some of these hypocrisies in terms of Katt Williams. Now keep in mind, the first time I watched it, like I said before, I am a big fan of Katt Williams. His art, one of my favorite comedians. But however, I'm gonna say this. It was a lot of hypocrisies and BS that he was doing within that interview. The first time I watched it, I didn't really catch it too much because I was watching it. I was getting caught up in the tea, etc., etc., etc. But also as well, I know that I am a big fan of Katt Williams, which means that I more than likely probably wouldn't always catch some of the BS. So I decided to take a back seat and kind of listen to the opposing sides and opposing views of people, and then go back and watch it again. And so when I watched it again, it's the hypocrisy of Katt Williams to literally say and talk about Ludacris and all these other individuals' wives being light skinned with funny faces, and this is how they got in the industry, and this is their souvenir for being part of the Illuminati, aka the Bole, etc. But sir, if the car can go forward, it can go backwards. You're also the same individual that literally was in relationship with Hazel E. And if you don't know who Hazel E is a light-skinned woman, and the people, aka the culture, have always criticized Hazel E's aesthetic in terms of her facial features because she's had a lot of plastic surgery, and also because the way that she looks and the way that she acts. So you can't call somebody out for quote unquote having a light-skinned woman as a souvenir for quote unquote being part of the Illuminati, but however, you also had a light-skinned woman as well. And to be completely honest, if we actually take a look at your arrest record and your track record, it's extremely problematic. So let me continue though about more of these conspiracies, and more of these hypocrisies. Because I started to think Ricky Smiley didn't do anything. Ricky Smiley didn't do anything. Kevin Hart has not done anything. And I think the issue in terms of Kevin Hart and also Ricky Smiley is that people know or people view that Katt Williams is funnier than Kevin Hart and Ricky Smiley. And so that automatically means that he's right. When that's not the case. At least in the public view. Because Kevin Hart taking jobs because you turned them down or you could not make them or be able to take them, that has nothing to do with Kevin Hart. He didn't do anything wrong. Ricky Smiley, him coming out and saying that he auditioned for a role that you got, he didn't do anything wrong. Especially once Ice Cube actually spoke out and completely dismantled the main claims that Katt Williams was giving to, I about to say to Steve Harvey, but to Ricky Smiley. And we're gonna play that because another thing I didn't understand is how people listened to Ice Cube's rebuttal and literally kept saying, yeah, he debunked what Ricky Smiley said. Actually, no, he actually debunked what Katt Williams said. And what did Katt Williams say? Katt Williams said that Ricky Smiley lied about getting the role of Money Mike or auditioning for the role. Correction, auditioning for the role of Money Mike. Katt Williams said that Ricky Smiley was lying about that. And then also Ricky Smiley had people on his team speak out for him as well, in addition to him speaking out. But we're going to play what Ice Cube said because I just don't get the hypocrisies. And then on top of that, I feel like this. If there was a real true issue in terms of Ludacris, he would have said it. You guys being quote unquote in the Illuminati, and from what you've said, Ludacris deciding to quote unquote go through with the blood ritual or whatever he had to do to make it to the top, and you decide not to, that has nothing to do with you. That's nothing personal to you at all. But let's continue. But let me play what he had to say. Ice Cube said, and you let me know who did he debunk?
Cat was 100 on a few things. Most of what he was saying, a couple things, I just want to clarify. When we bring in a new, comedian, we do have them try out for different roles. So Ricky did give Money Mike a shot. But when we saw him and, we kind of saw how he moved and how he was, auditioning, we decided that he would be a better, Santa Claus, which was, to me, the perfect casting. When we saw Mike, damn, I call him Money Mike. When we saw Katt, when I saw him, I just knew that he was perfect. Katt was, but we shoot the script. But once we get what we need from the script, we let the comedians ad-lib, riff, play with the words, do their thing. We give them a take where they can, or 2, 3 takes where they can go off and do what they feel. Sometimes it makes the movie, sometimes it don't. When somebody gives you jewels, you want to try to make sure that makes the movie. So in the movie, there's second thing I want to clear up. I would never shoot a rape scene.
R word.
In a movie, especially like Friday, where you actually see this happening on camera. That ain't my style. If you check out any of my movies, they're not.
Okay. So let's dissect what Ice Cube just said, because it's really like interesting to me that a lot of people literally listen to Ice Cube speak out and literally have said, and this is what I mean when I say when people allow their biases to speak for them. Ice Cube literally said this. He said Ricky Smiley did audition, play around with the character Money Mike. Ricky Smiley said he auditioned or played around with the character Money Mike, but then they made the swap. Katt Williams said that was a lie. Ice Cube is backing up Ricky Smiley's claims. Ice Cube also said that once they seen Katt Williams, they decided to make the swap, or eventually there was a swap that was made between Ricky Smiley being the pimp to being Santa Claus. That's what Ricky Smiley said, and also Ice Cube said. Katt Williams saying that's a lie. Another thing that was said that Ice Cube cleared up. Ice Cube also let it be known that, guess what? Whenever we do employ actors, actresses for a role to become a character, we allow them space, opportunity, and give them room to make the character their own. That also, guess what, backs up what Katt Williams said. And what Katt Williams said was he was the one that came up with the wardrobe for Money Mike. He was the one that came up with the idea, quote unquote, to instead of having certain people or a certain person within the film to talk to Money Mike, why don't you have a real pimp within the film? Katt Williams also said he was the person that wanted to come up with certain phrases and stuff and have the comedic relief and stuff and really, do his thing whenever his things came through. So Katt Williams said that. Ice Cube is backing up what Katt Williams said, but guess what? Ricky Smiley never said that was a lie. And then not only that, Ice Cube also let it be known that there was no grape scene in the original script. There was no grape scene in the original script. That's not his style. That's not how he gets down. That's what Ice Cube has said. But however, that's what Katt Williams saying is a lie. So another reason why that's even being said, or that's quote unquote believable in Katt Williams' mind, is because, for one, he believes that that's the reason why Ricky Smiley would be okay with taking that role, is because there is a grape scene, and you get the opportunity to be graped by a male actress on set, or rubbed on by a male actress on set, which also goes into the idea of why he wants Ricky Smiley to always play a woman whenever they do work together. So let me go through the comment section, because I was seeing the people talking about, yeah, Ice Cube just backed up everything that Katt said. I'm like, girl, what, are y'all not listening to this? Now, someone said this. Oh, the first comment says, so basically Katt was telling the truth. Okay, so another person says, so he lied about the grape scene. So he lied about that part. Another person says, just to wrap up what he said in his response, because Cube ummed many times and explained slowly. Katt wasn't lying. Yes, he was. Cube backing up his story. These people coming out backing up Katt, and so I'm now believing everything he said in that interview. Another person says, point being, Ricky didn't lie. And that's the truth. He didn't lie. Now, another person says, folk responded to Katt faster than any other. Okay, no, forget that. Okay, so basically a whole bunch of comments like that. So that's what I'm like, are y'all not listening to this? Like, what the heck? But that's just that's the perfect example of people are gonna believe what they want to believe, whether it's the truth, whether it's a lie. People are going to believe what they want to believe. The people are going to speak through their biases, and people are going to speak through their ideas that are in their head. You don't see with your eyes, you see with your mind. The way that you think, the ideas that you hold, the philosophies that you possess shape your perspective in the way that you view the world. And that also goes to the reason why, when this situation happened and I watched the interview the first time, I watched it again after I heard the opposing side, because I knew I probably was going to have a bias, because I like Katt Williams. So yeah. So this is the perfect example how people allow their biases to speak for them. And it doesn't matter what you come with. You can come with a receipt. It's not going to make any difference. It doesn't make a difference if you come with the truth. It's not going to make any difference. People are going to believe what they want to believe, and they're going to hold on to what they want to hold on to. It's nothing you can do about it. But as we get through this, now it says, Cube not trying to throw nobody, everybody, we're not trying to throw nobody, everybody under the bus. This platinum plan man, let's not forget. I don't know, but to be completely honest, he did throw Katt Williams under the bus. He did. He threw him under the bus. That's literally what he did. Now, he did it in a very, very careful way, to where he didn't disrespect Katt Williams, but he just cleared the air. And if you actually, like, if people actually listen to everything, and they really, really, really listen to what Ice Cube said, he basically backed up what Ricky Smiley said, which wasn't a lie, because Ice Cube is agreeing with Ricky Smiley. And then Katt Williams, only thing he agreed with is that, yes, Katt Williams had the room and opportunity to make the character his own once he got the role. But hold up. So let me continue. Got people over here calling me. Hold up. So let's move on from that. So now, last but not least, once we get through with comedians and their beefing and all this other stuff going on, let's get to talking about Trina and the Queen Bee, Beyonce Knowles. Now, Trina, as if you guys do not know, I'm pretty sure you guys do. Trina is a well-known rapper from Miami 305, Florida. And of course, you have Queen B, aka Beyonce Knowles, singer, songwriter, actress, etc. Now, reason why Trina and Beyonce are trending, came up within the media or on the front of newspapers, etc., is because Trina had the nerve to come out her mouth and say that Beyonce was the queen of rap. So basically, her comments were saying Beyonce was the queen of rap, and of course, the general public, the culture, the people let it be known that, girl, you are so full of it, and they gave their feedback and letting the girl like, girl, what crack are you smoking? And by the way, I'm saying this in a figurative way, girl, what weed are you smoking? What crack are you smoking? Because girl, you know good and goddamn well Beyonce is no queen of rap. She's a queen of a lot of things, but a rap is not one of them. Now, as a response, Trina doubles down and basically lets it be known, I said what I said, and it is what it is. And then, as a response to that, the culture also doubled down and let it be known that, girl, you so full of ish. Now, here's the thing: what I got to say about this, and I'm gonna hurry wrap this up. In terms of this, let's be very clear. There are two groups in this conversation. You have the people, aka the general public, and then you also have the barbs. Let's be very clear. Let's actually deal with the question at hand. The question at hand is the queen of rap. Whenever you have a question surrounding the queen of rap, it's a setup question. That question is a setup because it's either one or two things are going to happen. Either the question is going to be brought up because it's either going to be perceived, depending upon your answer, is going to either be perceived as you're trying to spite Nicki Minaj, or you're trying to be neutral. Now, I'm going to say this. People are speculating. The people are speculating. I'm going to say the barbs are speculating. Also, some people are speculating that they felt like Trina was trying to spite Nicki because of the previous situation that they had going on in terms of Nicki Minaj and Trina having a song out together by the name of Baps. And there was a situation surrounding the song. Well, the album was taken down. There was no budget for the video. It was just a lot of hiccups in terms of the song, and Nicki put Trina on blast, and Trina had to come out and address it, etc., etc., etc. So people felt or have this idea that Trina is only doing this to get back at Nicki and spite her. Now, I will say this. There was another alternate perspective that was given as well. And the alternate perspective was she could have possibly been trying to be neutral initially. Now, like I said earlier, whenever someone asks us any questions about quote unquote the queen of rap, the queen of rap, it's a setup question. It's a setup question. Either you're gonna say Nicki Minaj or you're gonna say somebody else. It's damn if you do, damn if you don't. Because if you do say Nicki Minaj, some people may have an issue with you saying that. But if you don't say Nicki Minaj, people are gonna have an issue with you saying that. You get what I'm saying? So it's a setup question. And since it's a setup question, the being neutral part is going to come off very hard for some people, especially for Trina, because of the history that she has with Nicki Minaj. But then not only that, is that what made it worse is with her doubling down, is that when Trina doubled down, she basically let it be known that she said what she said, and she said some other things, but it was a failed attempt at being neutral, because the way that she could have really drove her point home of her quote unquote being neutral, if that was her intention, was that she could have said that every woman in this field, in this game, is a queen within their own right. Every woman within this game is queens because they're doing their own thing. There are many queens in this kingdom. She could have just left it at that. Now, where she went wrong at first, let me say this as well. First and foremost, Trina does not have to give Nicki Minaj her tens. I'm just so sorry to let y'all know. She don't have to give her credit like that. She don't. If she feel like she don't want to have to, then she don't. Especially if you guys know, as in the barbs, if you guys already know or have this feeling that they are beefing, then she may not give her credit. Just call a spade a spade. She may not give her credit. And let's just call a spade a spade. Nicki Minaj has done the same thing to other people when she's beefing with them. When she's beefing with a bitch or a nigga, she not give you credit for a mother thing. And if she do, it's gonna be backhanded, and it's gonna be passive aggressive, and she's gonna be gaslighting, which means it's not authentic. So if the car can go forward, it can go backwards. If y'all know that they might be having little issues, then that should be expected. Then yes, she's probably gonna be petty. It is what it is. Now, another thing I will say about this is too, like, girl, now Trina, let's have a conversation. Now, girl, you know good and goddamn well, Beyonce is not no queen of rap. Like I said earlier, Beyonce is a queen of a lot of things. She's the queen of R&B. People can argue. People can argue she's the queen of pop. People can argue she's the next Michael Jackson, female version of Michael Jackson. People can say she is the queen of stage presence. People can say she's the queen of shit. People can say she's the queen of soul when she released Listen. But the queen of rap is not one of them. And that's the reason why, Trina, people believe that you were trying to be petty. People believe you're trying to be petty. Now, at the same time, you could have been attempting to try to be neutral and not name anybody within the end, like any of the rap girls, because you know how catty it can get from that question alone. But however, you kind of made it worse when you doubling down, and also with your track record, as in your history with Nicki Minaj. And then not only that, you name somebody that does not rap for real. Like, Beyonce, she raps, but she's a singer that just so happens to rap here and there. She's not a rapper, as she's known for it. I'm just saying. Let me read some of these comments and then get the heck up out of here, girl. Let me see what Moesha had to say. Moesha said, especially since Trina is Nicki's predecessor in rap, Nicki should be right. Thank you. And I'm not gonna lie, that was the thing that people were getting on Trina about. Yes, it's all good. Yes, it's a very good thing that you're celebrating new female rappers when they get into the game. Yes, you're celebrating new female rappers when you are on, when you're in the industry, you're not a hater, quote unquote. Even though in Miami, Florida, you have, from what I've heard personally, because you guys know I'm from Miami, Trina be keeping people from being, making it. that's what I heard up in Miami. I cannot confirm or deny, but that's what I heard. I ain't say this. This is secondhand information. You get what I'm saying? But even then, Geisha 305 done said it. That's what you do. And to be completely honest, to call a spade, I wouldn't even be too shocked that you would do that, because even when you get mad, number one thing that you tell people is that you're beneath me. So it probably would. I wouldn't be shocked if it was true, just to be completely honest with you. But I didn't forget about y'all. Before I get up out of here, I got some tea to tell y'all about Diddy in terms of this before the Diddy situation happened, right? So everybody knows I'm in the military. And so with me being in the military, whatever, I was at, a military meeting. And we were in the meeting and we were just having conversations about what was going on in pop culture, how was everything going, yada, 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 right? Yada, yada, yada. But then we got into the conversation surrounding Diddy. I believe this is when Diddy the first situation first sprung off with him and Cassie. I think this when this first happened or whatever. And one of the soldiers disclosed to me that she has a relative in the industry that's well known, and this person was being courted or trying to be courted by Diddy. Yes, it's a male. So when I heard that, I was like, oh girl, I guess it must all be true about Diddy. And to think about it, to be completely honest with you, people don't say, like Katt Williams said, and from his stand-up special, people don't say the same thing about you for 20 years for it to not have any sort of truth. Now, the truth can be exaggerated, but where there's smoke, there's typically fire. I'm just saying. But that is it for my video for today, guys. Please make sure you guys pop that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please, please, please smack that notification bell so do not, and I'm going to repeat this, y'all, do not miss any more posts from me. Until next time, guys, I will see you guys later. Deuces.